Well, it goes great with bread or over pasta, and even better, this versatile dish is quick and it's easy to make, which makes it pretty close to perfect, if you ask me. Chef Laura from Celebrated Cuisine is here to show us shrimp margherita.
Shrimp margherita.
Okay. We want to make sure I'm right on that.
You're absolutely right, and it's not margarita like what you have in a frosty glass with salt on the rim. It's margherita like a margherita pizza, because we're taking a spin on the margherita sauce we make for pizza and making it into a wonderful one-pot wonder.
Hot wonder.
Yes.
Where do we begin?
So right now I have had some diced onions just sauteed in the pan till they're nice and golden, and what I'm going to do is add a little bit of garlic to this, and also some dried oregano. And if I were going to add oregano at the end of this dish, I'd actually would add some fresh oregano instead. So why don't you give that a little stir. We're going to cook that until it's aromatic, so it'll be about 30 seconds. And aromatic meaning I can smell it, okay?
Okay.
So as soon as I know I can do that, I'm going to add to my pan some crushed whole plum tomatoes, meaning that I bought them in the can.
I smell it now.
Can you?
Yeah.
Hey, see, I don't make the stuff up, do I?
No, you don't.
Okay.
I didn't smell it before.
So I'm going to add the tomato to the pan, and you can hear some nice sizzle, so give that a little stir. And at the same time, I'm going to add these beans, and these are white beans, white kidney beans, also known as cannellini beans, and they're really easy to find at the grocery store. And get them all in there. Thank you. I'll keep giving that a stir. And we're going to let this sauce come together over the course of a few minutes. What I love about this dish is that it's very versatile. It doesn't take a long time to make, and we know because we can add any kind of protein to it or none at all. If I wanted to just take this and make it a sauce for a pasta, I can, but by virtue of adding a little bit of protein today, we're going to add some shrimp to this in just a second, then I actually have a wonderful dish out of one pan. Only one pan gets dirty too.
Yeah.
Which
Amen
is really
to that.
nice. So what we're doing is a saute, and saute literally translates to mean to jump. And so what we're doing is we're making some wonderful ingredients here jump in the pan, okay? And we want to cook with with a lot of heat, a little bit of fat. So this is actually also a very low-fat dish for those of us who are sorry that we overindulged yesterday with the chocolate.
If I ate one more peep, I think I would turn into one.
You know, peeps are very versatile too. We can do a whole thing on that if we want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this this shrimp to the pan. I'm going to have you stir this in. I'm going to crank up our heat a little bit.
I was going to say, this seems like it's really low, so we will need a hotter skillet for that.
One touch button will do that. And while you're doing that, what I did with the shrimp is I'm using a shrimp size that is a 20, which means there are 16 to 20 shrimp per pound. So when you're buying a shrimp at the grocery store, don't pay attention to the words on the bag, things that say jumbo, colossal, whatever. Look at the numbers, because the numbers will tell you how big that shrimp really is. So, and I get into this in a lot more detail when I teach my classes around fish as well.
You have one coming up, right?
I have one on this Wednesday at Sweet Basil at 9:30, and we're going to be doing all kinds of fish and shellfish as well. So it's a great way to get your arms around how to do fish very successfully in the kitchen.
Okay.
But in this case, I'm using the 1620s, and so if you just keep that, giving that a stir, you're going to see that my heat's going to come up in just a sec. And this will take about 5 minutes to cook. And what I did with my shrimp to make them cook even faster is that I sliced them in half down the middle so that I had more surface area available to the heat, okay? And I'll know that my shrimp is cooked because it eventually will get nice and pink and curled, as you can see right here, okay? So the most important thing to do with this dish, though, before you go to serve it, is to make sure you taste it for seasoning. Because if we don't, then we have no idea if it's actually going to come out the way you want it to.
Okay.
And I think the biggest mistake that we all make, whether we're chefs or cooks or what have you, is that we don't taste our food before we serve it to other people. And so surprised when someone may not like it as much as we thought they would.
Right.
So don't forget to taste it, and you'll find that a little bit of salt goes a long way. The last thing we're going to do for this dish is we're going to create a garnish for it. And when people look at the recipe on the website, they'll see this thing and it's going to say basil chiffonade.
Okay.
And so basically what I did is I took leaves of basil and I stacked them one on top of the other, just like this, and I rolled them up into a nice tight cylinder, okay? And then using my knife, I'm going to take this, I'm just going to thinly slice the basil just like this, and so I get these beautiful long strands, really, really easy to chop, all very consistent. And then it makes a really lovely garnish and adds a wonderful level of flavor to my dish as well.
Smell that too.
Yes, it does. So we're using a lot of, now if I were going to use dried basil, I would use it earlier in the dish so it could rehydrate in the sauce while it was cooking.
Okay. But seeing as though it's fresh, you can use it later.
You want to use it at the end. Otherwise, what happens is the flavor of the herb actually leaches out over the course of the cooking time, and you don't get as much of that pungent herb flavor that you're looking for.
Got it. Got it. Well, I think we're out of time. Thing is warming up, and we're looking for these, like you said, to curl up. And you're going to find, thank you very much for coming in.
Oh, you're welcome.
To teach us this. You can find Chef Laura's yummy recipe and information about her cooking classes on our website, abc15.com. Go ahead and click on the food tab at the top of the page.